fascinating piece, Rachel. Is it online now? I think it's online, WSJ.com. Check it out. Rachel, what is going on here?
Sure. So normally at many companies, people wait with bated breath to see what their managers are going to give them. And often they're disappointed, they're not very good at managing up. So some companies are experimenting with something totally different, and they're letting their colleagues actually reward their bonuses to them.
Right.
So it's definitely a different kind of system.
Yeah. Now, what is to stop? I mean, when I read the piece, Rachel, my immediate reaction was, it's a very creative idea, but it's insane. I mean, how do you stop something like this from everybody trying to basically game the market? I mean, this would be like Machiavelli writ large. You'd be making, it's like Survivor. Everybody be making friends with everybody else to get themselves paid. How can anybody actually focus on the work at hand?
Well, certainly there are definitely ways to game the system, and so I wrote about several companies that are doing similar things. But one company called Coffee and Power, it's a small startup, and they only have about 15 employees. But the guy who created this, man named Philip Rosedale, he actually did it at his previous company, Linden Lab, which had about 200 employees. And as you can imagine, with 200 workers, people do start getting clever, and they start trading bonuses and making these deals. So he actually created a pretty robust auditing system to make sure that people didn't cheat or do any shenanigans.
Right. Now, the idea here, I kind of love the idea of like creating a market to see, kind of people in effect voting with their feet or their pocketbooks as to who they perceive to be a valuable colleague or employee. And yet, I know, having worked in various organizations, most of which used a typical 360-degree kind of typical feedback mechanism, even that system, by the way, which is designed so it isn't gamed, even those ways are totally gamed by people, with people saying, oh, make sure you say something good about me, I'll say something good about you. How does he work any kind of auditing system to prevent that from happening?
Well, it's pretty complicated, but I think what he's saying is this is not going to work for every company. It's really going to work in companies that are really transparent, that have a lot of trust. So it's definitely not for everybody. But there are companies that really are pretty trustworthy, and people don't try to game the system. The other thing, it's not such a bad thing where people try to kiss up to each other. That's not so bad. We want nicer workplaces. We want workplaces that encourage people to be helpful to each other, even if it means that they're angling for bonus.
Yeah, I love that. It's like everybody's going to be like an oily salesman. It's like all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, they go in, they see the receptionist. So good to see you.
So happy to see you. Exactly.
It's so great to see. Every meeting will start with how wonderful everybody is.